everyone, welcome back to On the Flip Side. My name is Adam Shawalker, your host, and today we're going to be checking out this EP from Chat Pile, Remove Your Skin Please. There have been very few times where I've heard an album and from the very first moments of the first song saw an absolutely massive growth potential for an artist. Chat Pile is a noise rock band based out of Oklahoma City that has mixed a mind-altering amount of sludge, crust punk, hardcore, and death metal into their sound with a vocal style that I would call The Cramps meets Admiral Angry, and an instrumental section committed to making harsh and pervasive noise at every moment possible. On top of all this is the emotional, raw, and frankly disturbing lyrical content that's incredibly reminiscent of the no-wave scene. Of course, with this being an EP, there are only 4 tracks, but they have an overabundance of quality and content jammed into them. The first song is Dallas Beltway. This song oozes a grime not unlike the mysterious stains on a DIY venue's floor. The bass envelops the entire track in a haze of violence, and the guitar work seems to be laid on top as an attack on the listener. It's keenly brutal and entirely captivating. I think the best thing here though is the vocal track and the lyrics, which are intensely delivered and revolve around what seems to be the thoughts of the singer, who is in this scenario where he murders his kid and stuffs him into the trunk of his car only to drive endlessly on the highway trying to kind of rationalize his actions. The line, "You want to see what ordinary hands can do to something fragile," is a fucking sweet line. The despondent delivery of the lines in this track that devolves into an almost animalistic anger is excellent. This is a fantastic track. The next song is Mask, a much more calm track in comparison to the last song. This one feels a little bit more in line with a traditional noise rock or shoegaze style. The instrumental, like the last track, is thick with bass that acts like a fog and really helps keep the mood grim. The guitar is a bit lighter but still floats above the mix with some really nice reverb, and the drums seem to be the glue that hold this whole thing together with some very punchy, over-the-top beats all over the song. The vocal work is even more desperate and intense than the last song, with a sound that's nearly on the border of collapsing in on itself. The lyrics are a little bit more esoteric on this track, but you can kind of break it down into a song that's more or less about self-loathing, or it could kind of be interpreted more as like acknowledging the hate one has for themselves, and instead of accepting that, kind of becoming violent instead. It's all pretty vague, but I do think that this one is more about the actual delivery than the lines themselves. Overall, it's a pretty damn good track. Up next is Davis. This song is immediately high tempo and very aggressive right off the bat with an almost black metal blast beat. The drums really shine here with some killer switch up between these very fast parts and a much slower groove. The bass work is just as thick here as ever. The guitar work is again on its melodic doom metal style riffage, and the singer is just belting out lines with more and more desperation. I mean, this guy is just spitting poison into his mic. This song lyrically is one of the darkest here, with a story about what seems to be like accidentally murdering a kid by pushing them into a river. A lot of the themes lyrically seem like this whole thing is an accident. It's implied that they find Davis after 4 days of searching, and this is all just very, very heavily implied without too much direct wording, but there are lines like, I remember your face, cringing, withering, I remember the color of your skin when they found you, and I was there and I was out of there, waited 4 nights, I was the one that pushed. It's a really brilliantly devastating track. This whole style of music is definitely very at home with these types of lyrical concepts, but this is so fresh and it's so personal and fairly grounded. I mean, there's plenty of songs about killing people, but I can't think of too many that would resemble the plot of like a Stephen King novel. This song seems to be almost begging itself for forgiveness or begging for a punishment. It's very self-depreciating and it's very, very fresh. Final song is Garbage Man. This track is probably the most straightforward song on the album lyrically. Either it's just a big metaphor for being a huge piece of shit, or it's a song about a literal garbage creature that hunts children, which is pretty sick either way. This is probably the most sludge-heavy track on the album, with the exception of the very keen hardcore-style vocals, which are ever present on this EP and for this song are particularly violent and expressive. The way this singer kind of just lets loose these almost indescribable sounds is amazing. I mean, there's some really unique vocal styles and heavy music, but I think that this is some of the coolest delivery that I've heard in a very long time. So this band Chat Pile have crafted these 4 intensely personal, heavy songs and have really captured my attention. And seeing as this was released in 2019, I'm very much hoping to see more from them soon. They did do a split very recently with Portrayal of Guilt, and I highly recommend checking that out because it's pretty good. Anyway, I think there's potentially something really special here, and I can't wait to hear another release from these guys. Remove Your Skin Please is a solid 8. Thank you all so much for watching. If you liked this video, please drop a like and consider subscribing, and if you want to support the channel more, you can follow this show on Instagram or check out my Reverb store. Links to those are both in the description below. Thank you all so much again, and we'll see you on the flip side.